Hey y'all, welcome back. What is it like to live at Buckingham Palace?
As a royal residence and an official state building, Buckingham Palace operates in both the private and public spheres.
I guess I never see this back part, I only ever see this. I thought it was like a solid block, but it's not. So, was this built? This part in front built first and then this part in the back was built? What's going on here? What's in the middle there? What's in this courtyard? Is that where they play basketball? They got a backyard? Okay, the stakes have been raised in my brain about living at Buckingham Palace. It looks kind of awesome.
Its size and grandeur exceeds general knowledge, and maybe even expectation, giving individuals living in Buckingham Palace access to much more than meets the eye. So, today, we're going to take a look at what it's like to live at Buckingham Palace.
Cool.
But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel. After that, we'd be much obliged if you would leave a comment and let us know what other famous historical locations you would like to hear about. Okay, time for a Weird History fit for a queen.
The decorations may feel out of date.
Buckingham
yeah,
Palace includes
I would expect it.
775 rooms, 19 of which are designated as staterooms. Some of the challenges of the aging structure, including a leaking roof and falling detritus, may not seem like the ideal living situation.
I'm sorry, a falling what?
Including a leaking roof and falling detritus.
What's a detritus? Is that one of those British words? Detritus. Detritus means trash or debris. Usually detritus refers to a waste or junk of some kind, but it can actually mean any accumulation of material, not only man-made stuff. Loose gravel, silt, and sand can all be called detritus. And so can decomposed organic matter, like piles of dead leaves. They gotta clean the gutters out there too.
But as part of the palace's history, these defects could just be considered part of the building's charm. And indeed, while these problems could be easily fixed, the royal family prefers to leave it as is. In
What?
fact,
What do you
according
mean?
to historian Ellen
They leave the gutters full? What do they mean?
Leslie, none of the staterooms have been redecorated for more than 6 decades.
Oh, they're
which
talking
was
about
a very deliberate decision.
decorations.
Most people decorate their houses mainly for fashion reasons every 10 years or so, Leslie said, but this isn't what the royal family are into when it comes to Buckingham Palace. They want it to keep looking the same.
That's smart.
Each of the
That's smart.
staterooms is elaborately decorated and requires a fair amount of upkeep. According to Leslie, the reason it's lasted so well is that it was furnished and decorated to a very high standard in the first place. A lot of the interior is based on the inspirations of Edward VII, who loved the place.
Hang on. So most people redecorate their homes every 10 years. I don't. It makes sense that they wouldn't because the royal family is like the most traditional of all traditional British. There's a word that's not coming to mind, but you know what I'm talking about. They're all about tradition. Holding up the tradition. I'm at a loss for, I need more coffee. Hang on, who's Edward VII? When was he around? Edward the 7th. I'm using Arabic numbers. Oh, look at him. He lived from 1841 to 1910. Okay, he was the king from 1901 to 1910. Just 9 years. Wow. The second child and eldest son of Queen Victoria, heard of her, and Prince Albert, heard of him. His nickname was Bertie. He was born in Buckingham Palace. A man of the people, I guess you're saying. Yearly repairs can cost millions. Yearly? Well, it's a big place.
Buckingham House was acquired by the royal family during the mid-18th century and transitioned to a formal palace under the auspices
That's
of
the
King
back
George
part,
IV.
it looked like.
During
right?
the 1820s,
Hang on, let me look at that again. How many windows is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So maybe this is the original house, basically? Wow. It does look older, doesn't it? It's like there's more patina on it. A little more grunge. Oh, wait, what's the word? Detritus. Sounds like a disease.
Buckingham House was acquired by the royal family during the mid-18th century and transitioned to a formal palace under the
1750s.
auspices of King George IV. During the 1820s, George IV and architect John Nash expanded the house into a palace, which entailed rebuilding and adding numerous rooms, as well as a healthy amount of elaborate decor. While some upgrades have taken place throughout Buckingham Palace over the years, they haven't been enough to keep the residential and official areas current. In 2017, the British government allocated £500 million to upgrade water pipes, electrical wiring, light fittings, and radiators, some of which dated back to before World War II. Despite the improvements, defects remain. According to Sir Alan Reed, the keeper of the Privy Peace, water often leaks from the roof of Buckingham Palace and has to be captured in buckets below.
What?
In addition to some practical and aesthetic changes, safety issues need to be addressed as well.
Y'all, duct tape. Duct tape on the roof, on the inside. Just put it over the hole, and you're good. Charles, let me come over with a case of duct tape. I'll patch it up.
Safety issues need to be addressed as well. On
Safety
one occasion,
schmafety.
a piece of falling masonry almost hit Princess Anne in the head. The repairs are to take place over more than 10 years as
I
a
wish they had that
multi-phase
on video.
operation. Until then, princesses are advised to keep an eye out for falling bits of the ceiling. The British government may have invested £500 million into revamping Buckingham Palace, but it wasn't without controversy. For while the British public is generally fond of the royals, they're not too hot on footing the bill for their home improvements.
No.
In fact, when the repairs first became an issue, a petition circulated in the United Kingdom demanding the royal family pay for the work themselves. Several members of Parliament echoed the call for the royals to fund the renovation. But Queen Elizabeth II insists she doesn't own Buckingham Palace, unlike several of her other residences. As a working home, however, Buckingham Palace serves as the base residence for the Queen. God save the Queen, but let the Queen save her own house.
That's an interesting argument. So who does own Buckingham Palace? The people of Britain, I guess? Who owns Buckingham Palace? The palace, like Windsor Castle, is owned by the reigning monarch in right of the crown. Wikipedia begs to differ with the Queen, and now the King. Occupied royal palaces are not part of the crown estate, nor are they the monarch's personal property. Oh, okay.
God save the Queen, but let the Queen save her own house.
The Queen's apartment. She has an apartment in there.
Located on the north side of Buckingham Palace are 3 private apartments occupied by Queen Elizabeth II.
3 apartments.
While who should fit the bill for the palace repairs is a matter of debate, the Queen herself, uncontroversially, pays for the furnishings in her 9-room apartment. Elizabeth and her late husband, Prince Philip, reportedly slept apart in separate rooms because the Queen enjoys having the windows open even in the coldest months.
What? She sleeps with the windows open. Like in February? Yeah. I would love to see an account of the night. It was probably the kind of argument that every married couple has.
According to Lady Pamela Hicks, Philip's first cousin, it also just generally remains a common practice among the British upper class, sleeping in separate rooms, that is, not leaving the windows open when it's cold. Aptly named the Throne Room, one of the staterooms in Buckingham Palace is home to 2 thrones called the Chairs of Estate. The chairs were made for the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II and her husband, Prince Philip, in 1953. Chairs used by previous rulers, King George VI, crowned in 1937, and Queen Victoria, crowned in 1837, are located in the room as well. Elizabeth II's throne is embroidered with EIIR, her royal cipher for Elizabeth II Regina, and has only been sat upon once. After her coronation ceremony, the Queen used the throne chair, now located at Windsor Castle.
No one's ever sat in it? No one's ever sat in it? Okay, y'all. If I was a janitor at Buckingham Palace, no one else is around, and I'm sweeping the throne room, I'm gonna bake my buns in that chair.
The 40 acres of gardens at Buckingham Palace feature more than 300 types of British wildflowers, 150 trees, 30 species of birds, and numerous types of moths and butterflies. Within the garden, there's a lake that spans 3 acres and has its own small island.
Wait a minute. Oh, okay, so here's the front, and this is the lake? That's a little island? Looks like it's outside the gate.
Within the garden, there's a lake that spans 3 acres and has its own small island. On the island, the palace keeps Italian honeybees, and the Queen enjoys organic honey made by the bees. London's oldest helicopter pad
cut their
also
own
takes up
bees.
some garden space, as does a tennis court, the herbaceous border, and ornamentation like the Waterloo vase. In many ways, Buckingham Palace is autonomous, offering amenities like a post office, cafeteria, movie theater, and doctor's office for the staff. These features make it easy for employees to take care of personal matters without ever having to leave. Additional facilities include a swimming pool, gym, and chapel. The staff can also join a book club or choir, or benefit from on-site counseling services. Costs for the medical facilities were the subject of public criticism in 2008. The Health Service Journal revealed 300 household staff were receiving medical services at a rate nearly 2 times the national average. This was especially troubling because the National Health Services in Britain closed down much larger medical practices with lower expenses. At one point, Buckingham Palace had a bar for the staff. But according to Dickie Arbiter, former press officer for Queen Elizabeth II, the bar was closed due to worse-for-wear staff, which is generally code for people were getting too drunk too often. Based on reports, the Queen shut down the on-site watering hole. On at least one occasion, however, the Queen served drinks in the palace, handing the Queen Mother's upholsterer, Kevin Andrews, a builder's tea, a mug of tea with 2 sugars.
It didn't really cross my mind that a lot of the facilities would be for the staff. Having those things for the royal family makes sense because they don't want to leave and get, that's a security hazard for them to, go to Gold's Gym or LA Fitness. They can't do that. They need their own gym, but it's also for the staff. That's dope. I really want to hear more about the story of why the bar was closed. There must have been a moment, a really awkward moment of one of the staff members being so far gone that the Queen was like, all right, that's enough. It would appear that some staff members may have gotten a little too carried away with the booze and the Queen had enough. It's a shame, really, because the bar was likely a great perk for hardworking palace staff. We can only imagine the conversations that would have gone on in that bar. Oh my God. True. Tales of palace intrigue and scandal, and perhaps even a few embarrassing secrets revealed after one too many gin and tonics. That's probably why. Loose Lips, the bar which was exclusively used for the staff, was said to have been a popular spot for post-work tipple. But it seems that some of the staff may have taken things a little too far. It's a shame the few over-enthusiastic drinkers brought an end to things for everyone else. Yeah! However, all good things must come to an end, even for the royals. The Queen made the decision to shut down the bar in order to maintain the professionalism and decorum of the palace staff. After all, nobody wants to see the royal footman behaving badly after a few too many pints of ale. I do. So farewell to the Buckingham Palace staff bar. What a shame. Let's get a Buckingham Palace dispensary. Right? A little hookah bar,
On at least one occasion, however, the Queen served drinks in the palace, handing the Queen Mother's upholsterer, Kevin Andrews, a builder's tea, a mug of tea with 2 sugars.
Oh. That was the one time she handed someone a drink. What an honor. I bet when he drank the tea, he turned into vapor, because she's magic. An ATM in the basement and staff living at the palace.
In the basement of Buckingham Palace, a Coutts Bank ATM gives members of the royal family access to cash at any time. Queen Elizabeth II is said to never carry cash. But because the palace serves as both a royal residence and the site of matters of state, the royals are regularly present. Coutts, one of the oldest banks in the world, serves the highest echelons of society, including the Queen Mother, who passed in 2002. The Queen Mother once overdrew £4 million from the bank, although not from the ATM, which was installed in 2001.
Can you imagine being in line for that ATM? The Queen's putting in her PIN number? I'd be like, what's that PIN? What's that PIN?
Buckingham Palace has 188 staff bedrooms. These facilities are relatively small quarters where workers can sleep while on duty. When Buckingham Palace advertised for a housekeeping assistant in 2016, the position included staying at the palace full-time, sleeping and eating while working an unspecified number of hours. While housekeeping at the palace is a pretty demanding gig, it's not without its perks, which include exclusive phone packages and car leasing discounts.
Okay.
Positions at Buckingham Palace also come with extensive training, with everyone from telephone operators to butlers learning how to deliver extraordinary service in incredible surroundings.
That might actually be really fun. It's weird looking back at my early working professional life. Some of the most fun I had was being the low man on the totem pole and just like making coffee and mopping floors, going on food runs. Whenever I got up, rose through the ranks and became an assistant engineer and then an engineer and producer, that's when the real pressure starts in. That's when you gotta deliver. That's when you have all this weight on your shoulders. Money's being spent. It better be good. You better do good work. That wasn't as fun. But while you're making coffee, mopping the floors, you're thinking, I want to do what that guy's doing. But whenever you're that guy, you're thinking, remember those days when I used to do what that guy was doing? That was fun. It might be fun to be a housekeeper at Buckingham Palace, I'd imagine. Lisa Carr. The Queen may just wander into the room. Wander?
So, imagine you're just doing your job, minding your own business when, without any warning, the Queen of England just walks into the room and starts hanging out.
Hello,
it's hard
Liz.
to picture, but it happens. At least if you work at Buckingham Palace, it happens. Former palace butler Richard Kerrigan, for one, recalled an unexpected encounter with the Queen. He was standing and walking on a 180-person table to fix a flower arrangement when the Queen walked in. Unable to speak to the monarch unless approached by her, he continued his task. According to Kerrigan, he was thinking that it was a quite abnormal thing, but she's checking to make sure everything suits her. He added that with the events, we see her all the time. As you can probably guess, interacting with the Queen is subject to all sorts of rules, even if you're the palace butler, like Kerrigan. And not being able to talk to her before she spoke to you was just one. According to the man himself, he once got caught trying to take a picture inside the palace, which is strictly forbidden. And during dinner service, he and the other servers had to watch a green and red traffic light system to see when they were allowed to leave and enter the room. Discretion and protocol are maintained at all times. Simon Morgan, Royal Protection Officer from 2006 to 2013, echoed this sentiment when he recalled his time at the palace. He was both in awe of and deferential about being allowed into places you wouldn't normally have access to. According to Morgan, you are very fortunate to be in these positions, to travel by private charter, or travel first class, or be on super yachts, or to eat in some of the nicest restaurants the world can offer. But it's just a job. And after Morgan's job was done, he went back to being just like anyone else. As he says, you go back to your 2 up, 2 down home, and life carries on. Your environment might change, but you remember you are still a police officer employed by the Met Police.
Those protocols do seem pretty strict. If those protocols were not in place, people would probably get really emotional and come up to them and start saying, "Oh my gosh, it's so great to meet you. Oh my God, can I get a selfie? Will you give me an autograph? My mom loves you. Will you do the voicemail message on my answering machine?" I mean, you can't imagine all the attention they must get if those protocols were not in order. So the protocols are there to be like, hey, everybody, chill out. If she wants to talk to you, she'll talk to you. Just chill out. That's not as bad as like some movie stars. They don't want people looking them in the eye, much less talk to them. You can't look them in the eye. Can you look the Queen in the eye? Or the King? Can you look them in the eye? 8 things you're forbidden from doing in the Queen's presence and what to do instead. When I say the Queen, just automatically switch it to the King. I know. Don't touch her, Madge. Her what? This rule dates back to medieval times, when, as historian Kate Williams puts it, monarchs were divinely appointed to rule by God, so they were kind of seen as gods, so they demanded to be treated as gods. Aw, Michelle's touching her, but the Queen's touching her back. They're hugging, y'all. American hugs. Remember the raised eyebrows in 2009? Michelle Obama put her arm around Her Majesty in a warm gesture. Protocol experts sniffed very loudly at that. Don't show up empty-handed. I gotta bring a gift. The gift must also be appropriate to the occasion, so if she's paying a visit to your hometown or country, something reflects... I'll give her cash. Stand to attention. You may be dead on your heavily bunioned feet, but you should always stand when the Queen enters the room. All right. You may only sit once she's nice and comfy, so keep a close eye on when the Queen sits down herself. Okay. Don't just twiddle your thumbs. When the queen is making a beeline for you or when you're next in line to meet her, it's important you either bow or curtsy, depending on whether you're a woman or a man. Okay? Don't ignore the dress code. If the event is black tie, wear a black tie. That makes sense. I can do that. Resist the temptation to refer to her by her first name, or heaven forbid, a nickname. No Liz or Lizzie or sweetheart. I called her Liz a moment ago. I meant no disrespect. Just trying to be informal. Only speak if the queen speaks to you. This rule exists so Her Royal Highness can control every aspect of the conversation, including exiting it swiftly. Yeah, she wants to get out of there. Don't eat before she does. Dang. Is that all of it? I think that's all. Those aren't too bad. Those are, I could do that. Fine. Staple foods like Special K and nuts are on hand. Special K?
Queen Elizabeth II keeps a regular meal routine, enjoying tea, fruit, and eggs in the morning. She even has a favorite cereal. We'd like to say it's something like Fruit Loops or Lucky Charms, but it's just plain old Special K. She also generally stays away from starches, but doesn't avoid alcohol. Elizabeth drinks in moderation, enjoying gin and wine throughout the day. Hey, it's good to be the queen. Elizabeth also has bowls of nuts around the palace to snack on and is adamant about protecting them for herself. As a result of unapproved snacking, palace police officers were warned to keep their sticky fingers out of her nuts. Elizabeth also enjoys Tabasco sauce, Walker's shortbread,
Tabasco?
Although presumably not all.
Hang on, what was the other thing?
Enjoys Tabasco sauce, Walker's
shortbread. I've heard of that.
Chocolate. Although presumably not all at once.
I bet she eats all that at once. Why not? She likes gin, she likes chocolate, she likes nuts. I'm resisting making a testicle joke, although I already did. She loves nuts.
So what do you think? How would you like living at Buckingham Palace? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, check out some of these other videos from our weird history.
How would I like it? I think it would be fun for a bit. But then it would probably get old. What if you're just in your one little room, laying in your little twin bed, looking out your one window? What if the king walks in, he's like, hey, make me tea. Yes, sir. I bet the hardest part about working there would be keeping your mouth shut, not telling people about all these crazy stories on your YouTube channel. And I'd like to say thanks to my patrons. Or wait, where would they be over there? Wait, is this freaky to do? Watch this. Whoa! Is that freaking you out? Is that freaking you out? What if I do this? Does it stop recording if I turn this? What do you think of that? It's freaking you out a little bit? Look at that. Look at that. Did you know this wall goes this far back? My whole hand's back there. Crazy, huh? I don't know why I'm doing this. There. I don't want to ruin the illusion too much. You know what I'm saying? Let's stay in this black void of packing blankets and blue lights. Anyway, going off on a tangent, rambling. Let's place a couple more ads in this video before... I'm just kidding. I don't know what else to say. Anyway, thank y'all for watching this with me. I found it quite interesting. Yeah, thanks for watching this with me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later.